Wrestling fans of the internet, welcome back to another episode of the MainLine at Linwood Wrestling Legends. As always, we are coming to you live and direct from an abandoned warehouse in Linwood. So if you love wrestling as much as we do here at Linwood Wrestling Legends, then you just gotta hop on that MainLine. As always, I'm your faithful host and color commentator, John. Although that riot we had last week was serious business, we are not letting it slow us down, and we have not missed a step. We have got another stacked card full of action-packed wrestling goodness. So let's go ringside right now and see it for ourselves. Okay folks, what happened last week was some pretty serious business. So you'll better listen up to what Big Daddy Todd's gotta say. We are officially not screwing around. I'll say, I was right in the middle of it. Where were you, Todd? Won't somebody please think of the merch? Apparently, Todd thinks of very little else. Goddamn right about that, and there better be. Don't you go losing that spine now, Sorensen. That may be the most Ned Flanders thing I've ever heard from Todd, and I've heard a lot. You got a whole lot of splaining to do, Corey. Oh, you just don't know when to stop digging. Come on, Todd, you're not going to let him get away with that, are you? Come on, Todd, you can do it. I believe in you, big guy. That's something I never thought I'd say. I hate to say it, but he does raise a point. If old Willie and Nigel can't stop that fox terrier from getting in, I think they're ill-equipped to handle this. Oh god, I just threw up in my mouth. I did not need that mental image. I'm just gonna look at some photos of puppies now. Seriously, Todd? You're gonna cave into this little weasel? I mean, sure, nobody wants a riot, but what's to stop him from doing this every week? You really think Marisa is gonna beat Lady Liberty? Yeah, good luck with that one, homie. Did I ever mention how much I want to punch this little turd? And once again, my boss, General Manager Todd Sorensen, folding like Superman on laundry day. But at least this buys us a little time. So let's just hope we don't get another riot tonight. And back to those pictures of puppies for me, because I gotta scrub that mental image. The Blue Bomber, Whitney Olivier, has gotten a surge of momentum to her career lately. Riding high on the heels of her latest victories and looking to position herself for that title shot. But the next step on the way is the Shield Maiden Skade. We've got two alpha females and two absolute powerhouses locking horns. And folks, that always makes for a great match. And it's a hell of a way to open the show. So let's go ringside right now and check it out. The following match is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from Bergen, Norway, she is the Shield Maiden, Skade! Alright Linwood, let's do this. After the events of last week, I'm just really hoping we can get back on track and have a relatively normal show. It would be a first for us. No doubt, Skade is still stinging from that loss in the steel cage match to the godmother, La Madrina. She's hoping a victory tonight will put her back on track. And while I'm sure we would love to get a more realistic and deadly looking sword for Skade, we are not made of money. We actually found that one in the dumpster out back at the warehouse. Believe it or not, we've actually found some really cool things in that dumpster. It's quite the little treasure trove. Hell, that's where I found this pair of trousers I'm wearing tonight. Took 3 hours of scrubbing to get rid of the dumpster smell, but you wouldn't believe how comfortable these bad boys are. And her opponent, Good gravy! Miss Venice Beach, Candice Devereaux just attacked Whitney Olivier. Referee Henrietta Sorensen scrambling to restore order. She is kicking out Miss Venice Beach. Candice Devereaux obviously looking for some payback after last week's sucker punch. But the Blue Bomber wants to continue and we've still got a match. Referee Henrietta Sorensen rings the bell. And if the original owner of these trousers is somewhere in the audience tonight, they're mine now and you can't have them back. Skade going for the drive-by. It's not my fault you didn't appreciate a pair of quality trousers. The other week I found a box of half-eaten crayons in the dumpster. That was a good day. And there's the drive into the corner. Skade letting loose with a vicious chop and down she goes. And if the owner of those half-eaten crayons is in the audience tonight, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let you have one crayon of your choice back, but not until I finish this sweet picture of an ankylosaurus I've been drawing. For John the commentator is nothing if not magnanimous. It's looking pretty bad for Whitney Olivier, and it's safe to say that Candice Devereaux clocked her good. Skade going for the DDT, but up and over she goes. The Blue Bomber is not out of this thing just yet, or at least she hopes. Skade getting the Dragon Screw. The Shield Maiden looking to take full advantage, but the Blue Bomber hits back with a Jawbreaker. There goes another catch, and down she goes. Blue Bomber going for an unorthodox half-crab submission, but can she make it stick? Apparently not. I gotta say, it's absolutely not coming up Millhouse for the Blue Bomber tonight, but she is firing back. Sweet backdrop suplex. Every time I think I can count Whitney Olivier out, she comes roaring back. Skade trapped in the corner. Blue Bomber looking to get the run up. And that missed the mark spectacularly. Jumping neck breaker from Skade. Skade's got that look about her and I don't like where this is going. Up she goes, and I think we're gonna see another stalling suplex. This one's a real testament to Skade's core and upper body strength. And timber! It's looking good for the Shield Maiden. On a personal note, I just want to thank all the firefighters who dug me out of that collapsed desk last week after the riot. Good gravy, we are seeing Mjolnir, the Hammer of Thor. That was a brutal move, and it's going to look even more brutal in slow-mo. And while I'm at it, I've got to thank our staff veterinarian Francesca for digging all those wood splinters out of my eardrums. But is there any coming back from Mjolnir, the Hammer of Thor? Obviously not if you're Jormungandr the Midgard Serpent. And is that enough to get the pin? 1, 2, kick out on the 2. We've yet to see anything decisive from the Blue Bomber, but we are still in the early stages of this match, so there's plenty of time for that. Shield Maiden going for the crossface. Whitney Olivier powering out. But seriously, folks, what happened last week can never happen again, and we got a spinning backbreaker. I know we like to josh around here and have a bit of a giggle, but there is nothing funny about being trapped under a collapsed desk in a riot. Blue Bomber going for the suplex, but there's the counter. Skade has had an answer for every single one of the Blue Bomber's moves, and she sticks a backbreaker of her own. 1, 2, kick out on the 2. And here's another casualty of last week's riot. That rogue fox terrier we've had problems with before, well, he took advantage of the confusion and ate $70 worth of food from the concession stand. So now we gotta eat that loss. It's amazing how much food a little dog can put away. Blue Bomber sends her opponent to the canvas with a stiff headbutt. There's the drive into the ropes. Up and over she goes. We are taking this thing to the cardboard. The Shield Maiden has clearly done her homework, because she seems to have an answer for every one of Whitney Olivier's moves. And here comes another beautiful stalling suplex. And folks, if you don't know anything about the riot we had last week, go watch last week's episode, and all the episodes before that, at least 2 or 3 times. Daddy needs the clicks. And oh god, I hope we don't get another count out, because we do not need another riot. The Blue Bomber getting back to her feet, and Skade resets the count. And ladies, please stay. No! Oh! Felt that one. I've reinforced the disc with extra cushions and duct tape since last week, but I really don't want to push my luck. Blue Bomber gets about. No, don't do it! Oh! That right there is never pleasant, but it's still a lot more pleasant than the bumps I would be taking if I was sitting at the desk, like those three of Todd's minions there. Blue Bomber taken to the apron, and she is looking to take flight. Skade gets back to her feet, and down goes the falling DDT. I'm sure the crowd by the barricade is having a great old time seeing this up close and personal, but personally, I get a little nervous when we get too close to the desk. Straight into the apron. Down they go, but there's a sneaky reversal from the Shield Maiden. She is having a lot of luck with those counters tonight. Scaling the top rope and looking to take flight, but nobody home with that falling axe handle. Blue Bomber back in the ring, and hopefully we can get this thing back on the rails. Up she goes and straight down into a Falcon Arrow. I gotta say, that pre-match surprise attack really took the wind out of the Blue Bomber, and now we're seeing Mjolnir, the Hammer of Thor, once again. The fury of 1,000 Valkyries is being unleashed on Whitney Olivier's back. This crowd is chanting one more time, but they need to stop being so damn greedy. 1, 2, 3, Skade takes the win. Let's go see some highlights from Ernie the cameraman. Compared to most of the Blue Bomber's other matches, this was a short, sharp affair. Can we blame that pre-match surprise attack from Candice Devereaux? I think in this case we absolutely can. Physical injuries notwithstanding, it really got in Whitney Olivier's head, and Skade the Shield Maiden had a counter for every one of her attacks. The Blue Bomber is absolutely going to be wanting a mulligan after this one, but not before she gets a little vengeance on Miss Venice Beach. At least that's the way this commentator sees it going, knowing what I know about Whitney Olivier. I once saw her give a guy a black eye for disrespecting Geddy Lee's bass playing, but to be fair, he kinda had it coming, but she is not gonna let this stand. Congratulations to the Shield Maiden Skade for this somewhat questionable win. I think I speak for everybody here when I say we're all gonna be wanting a rematch sooner or later, and it will be interesting to see how that shakes out when and if it happens. Our new recruit from developmental, the Electric Gigolo Mustapha Korkmaz, is back for a second go-round. This time he's facing the Boxburg Butcher, Jan de Slagter, and one can only hope Mustapha's done his homework before facing off against the dirtiest player in the game. The Electric Gigolo is gonna have to keep his head on a swivel for all the dirty pool being played by the Boxburg Butcher. But can he rise to the challenge, or are we gonna see another questionable victory for Jan de Slagter? Let's go ringside right now and find out. The following match is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from Erdina, Turkey, he is the Electric Gigolo, Mustapha Korkmaz. Straight off the bat, the Electric Gigolo might want to rethink those arseless leather chaps. For one thing, it is mighty cold here in Linwood this time of year, but you do you, homie. I'd be lying if I said I was blown away by his debut last week, but you know what, folks? It wasn't terrible. I think bringing up some new recruits from developmental might just be the thing to get our men's division out of the funk and back into the groove. And believe it or not, we've got another quote-unquote graduate from developmental making his debut later tonight, so be sure and check that one out. But let's hope Mustapha Korkmaz can step it up for a second match. And his opponent, representing Broforce 1 and accompanied by his manager Corey 312 from Boxburg, South Africa, he is the Boxburg Butcher, Jan de Slagter. I am so sick of this guy, and that's something I could say about both of these guys. My only hope is that the Electric Gigolo has done his homework, so he'll be prepared for the dirty tricks and egregious cheating we have seen in the Boxberg Butcher's last 2 matches. It really begs the question, how many matches does a wrestler have to win with groin shots before somebody steps up and does something? If nothing else, I hope the Electric Gigolo remembered his protective cup tonight. If he's not wearing a cup tonight, that would seem to indicate that the big bulge in his trunk is all Mustapha, in which case I feel incredibly inadequate. But then I remind myself that this is good, clean family entertainment, and I shouldn't be talking about bulges in wrestlers' trunks. No matter how huge and intimidating those bulges may be and how inadequate they may make me feel. Once again, folks, good, clean, G-rated family entertainment. In times like this, I am reminded of a famous saying, if you find yourself in a hole, quit digging. So I'm going to put my shovel down right now and get back to bringing you the wholesome, clean family entertainment Linwood Wrestling Legends is famous for. Referee Chad Remington rings the bell, and these two are going at it hammer and tongs. We've only just begun, and already this match is a brutal slugfest. Hopefully the interference from Corey 312 will be kept to an appropriate minimum, and we've got ourselves a good old-fashioned slobber knocker. And when I say appropriate minimum, make no mistake, last week's Riot was absolutely 100% Corey 312's fault. I would like to see him fed face first into a wood chipper, but apparently there's nothing I can do, so I gotta take what I can get. And here's something all of you can get, some sweet merch from our merch stand. Butcher countering back with a shot to the bread basket. Up and over the shoulder he goes and straight into a pop-up cutter. The Electric Gigolo has got his work cut out for him tonight, because he is dealing with one of the dirtiest players in the game. Running knee puts him on the mat. The Slagter looking to work the legs, but Mustapha's got the counter. The Electric Gigolo is not taking any of the Butcher's crap. Into the corner he goes, and off the oh, for God's sakes. What did I say? Good, clean family entertainment. I'll have you know my mum watches this show, and I don't want her to see any of that nonsense. Drive into the ropes from the Butcher. Up and over he goes. Mustapha going topside and looking to take flight. Down he goes, and that was a massive splash. And if you want to make a massive splash, why not pick up an Electric Gigolo t-shirt from our merch stand? Into the steel stairs goes the Butcher. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Oh, for God's sakes, we're starting with that again. I would like to remind the Electric Gigolo that he is no longer an exotic dancer. Old habits die hard, I guess. Butcher getting back in the ring, and this match is back on the rails. Into the corner goes the Electric Gigolo, and we got a painful salvo of kicks. Even when he's not cheating his ass off, the Boxberg Butcher is one of the deadliest strikers we've got at this promotion. And I'm amazed that one didn't draw a little blood, but there's still plenty of time for that. Unlike some promotions who have to suck up to advertisers, we are not afraid to show a little blood, or a lot. Rolling wheel kick knocks him off his feet. Butcher goes to the apron, and we are starting in with the mind games. Nice little kip up there from the Electric Gigolo, and straight into a flapjack we go. Butcher getting in the possum kick. And to be honest, I've never seen a possum kick before, but for all I know, they could kick surprisingly hard. Spinning axe handle knocking him to the mat. Referee Chad Remington has done a good job of keeping this match on the rails, and there's the drive into the corner. Are we going to see an No, we are not seeing an avalanche. Good gravy, that kick came from out of nowhere. Can he get the pin? 1, 2. Kick out after the 2, but let's see that kick again. Much like his better half, Marisa DuValier, who we'll be seeing later tonight, Jan de Slagter is trained in the French style of kickboxing known as savate, and those kicks have deadly precision. And it was only a matter of time before we saw this. I got a bad feeling there's another crotch shot incoming. Let's hope Mustapha can scout it. In the meantime, he goes face first into the exposed turnbuckle. And there's a cheeky double stomp to the gut. What the hell is Corey Oh god, we got a chair in the ring, and back into the exposed turnbuckle. Oh god, the Butcher's going for the chair. Ow! That was seriously not cool. We are looking at the dirtiest player in the game right here. Rolling Thunder Kick knocks him off his feet. Referee Chad Remington doing his best to deal with the dirty deeds. There's the whip into the corner. The Butcher wants nothing more than to see his opponents humiliated. Actually, scratch that. What he wants more is to get paid the $50 for this match. But I'm sure a little humiliation will be the cherry on the sundae. The Slagter looking to close the deal. Going for the JCVD kick, but the Electric Gigolo's got the dragon screw. Not today. And I gotta say, it's nice to see a wrestler finally stand up and say, I'm not taking any of the Butcher's crap. Mustapha looking to go airborne. The Slagter back on his feet. Boom! Missile dropkick sends him to the mat. I got a feeling we're gonna see something really cool, folks. And here it comes. Up into the electric chair. And boom! That was the Electric Gigolo driver. We got a 1. And a kick out after the 1, but let's see that again. I gotta say, that was a pretty sweet move. We're seeing some good technical skills from our new recruit. And I just hope the other developmental guy we're seeing later isn't a total disappointment. The Boxberg Butcher was not expecting this kind of resistance. There goes a turnbuckle pad, and the Butcher might be about to get a taste of his own medicine. Referee Chad Remington is on top of the situation, and down goes the falling axe handle. And whoever's waving that giant foam finger about, I really hope you bought that at our merch stand, otherwise there's gonna be trouble. I wish we could say we had a strict policy, but you've seen how lax security is around here. Face first, into the turnbuckle goes the Butcher, and down he goes. The Electric Gigolo's got ants in his pants as well as junk in his trunks. Oh my god, how humiliating. That was a right teabagging. 1, 2, 3. Mustapha Korkmaz takes the win. Let's go see some highlights from Ernie the cameraman. And I gotta say, fair play to the Electric Gigolo. He beat the Butcher at his own game and absolutely humiliated him. After all the times the Slagter has humiliated his opponents, it's nice to see him get a taste of his own medicine. But I also get the feeling that Mustapha has just made himself a big target. Not just for the Boxberg Butcher, but for the whole Broforce 1 faction. We've seen the dirty deeds Broforce 1 is willing to do, and if I were the Electric Gigolo, I'd look into making some friends to watch my back. Just a suggestion, folks. Take it or leave it. Congratulations to Mustapha Korkmaz for his second victory in as many matches. The jury's still very much out on this guy, but one thing's for sure. After the very literal teabagging he just gave the Boxberg Butcher, he is officially on Broforce 1's radar, and that is not a pleasant place to be. Wrestling factions are a lot like prison gangs. If you haven't got any homies to watch your back, things can get real ugly. And folks, I gotta say, I am starting to get very concerned about all these new prison gangs we've got popping up at this promotion lately. And here's Whitney Olivier. Still looking a little beat up from her last match, and I'll wager she's got some choice words from Miss Venice Beach. At least that would be my guess. I doubt we're going to see any kind of peaceful reconciliation. And there it goes. Skipping passive-aggressive and going straight to aggressive. We really got to stop letting our wrestlers say things. And that, folks, is where it started, with that sucker punch. And I'm not going to lie, I'm not crazy about the word ambulance being tossed around so casually. Something tells me that's going to be important. The Blue Bomber is not screwing around and she means business. And long ago, we learned the futility of telling our wrestlers not to cuss on the mic. Oh, shots fired. Miss Venice Beach ain't playing around either. This one's escalating quickly. Whoa, might have gone a little too far there, Whitney. Let's not forget this is good, clean family entertainment. Nah, you're not gonna listen to me. For the record, I never had any doubts, and shots fired by Miss Venice Beach. That maple syrup habit will be the death of her. Whoa, I'm doing what? Hey, don't bring me into this. And why do you think I know where to get an ambulance? And there we have it, folks. Apparently, we are having an ambulance match next week, and apparently, I am providing the ambulance. Thank you very much, Candice Devereaux, for putting me in an awkward position. Now everyone will blame me if there's no ambulance. And here's another wrestler riding high on the heels of their latest victories. The godmother, La Madrina. It's strange to think that we've never seen these two in a match before, but tonight, she's facing one of our biggest merch sellers, Left Eye. There is a very high possibility of dark sorcery being employed at some stage in this match, so I hope you've all got your protective magic eggs. I know I've got mine. Let's go ringside right now and see this match. The following match is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, representing Sector Del Muerte, from Brownsville, Texas in the United States, she is the godmother, La Madrina. The godmother is riding high. After vanquishing her latest nemesis, Skade, in the steel cage match, the sky's the limit. She held the championship last year for quite a while, and I have no doubt she is looking to take it back. It would be pretty silly if she wasn't, because what kind of wrestler doesn't want a championship? If they weren't looking to take the belt, why would they come out here week after week and beat each other bloody? Why indeed? That said, there may be some hypothetical wrestlers out there that realize they will never be the champion and accept their lot, but the godmother La Madrina is not one of them. In her mind, she is protected by dark gods and the foulest of sorcery, so that title, it's only a matter of time. And her opponent, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in the United States, she is Lisa Left Eye Bishop. We haven't seen Left Eye since the Mystery Box PLE, and to be honest, I think that's kind of a shame. She's a real favorite with the crowd, she can really go in the ring, and most importantly, she can shift merch like nobody's business. It's hard to say between her and Miss Venice Beach Candice Devereaux who shifts the most merch, but they're both up there, and I got a feeling that'll bring them into conflict with one another one of these days. But unfortunately, there can only be one top merch seller, and unless Left Eye puts on an absolute clinic tonight, that's still going to be Miss Venice Beach. Referee Henrietta Sorensen rings the bell, and Left Eye is wasting no time. She has marked the godmother as a scrub and thus deserving of no love. And if you happen to be any description of scrub, this woman is your worst nightmare. And we got a little kinetic chess. Once again, we apologize for those funny looking circles, and you can blame Ernie the cameraman. He can learn to do a slow-mo replay, but apparently he can't fix those funny little circles. Or his marriage, or the fact that his kids think he sucks. You know it's true, Ernie the cameraman. I follow Jennifer and James on Instagram, and they both think you suck. Left Eye doing her damnedest to ram her opponent straight through the mat. We got a heaping helping of verbal abuse just for the cherry on the sundae. We've been seeing a lot of referee Henrietta Sorensen lately, and I don't want to say nepotism, but nepotism, and we got first blood. Yeah, we all know who your uncle is, Henrietta. Left Eye is showing absolutely no mercy to her opponent. This could very well be the comeback she's been looking for. Stunned against the ropes, and we got a 1, 2, 3 stiff elbows to the back. Madrina is going to be feeling that one later on. Can she get the pin? 1, 2. Kick out just before the 2. We've yet to see Madrina mounting any kind of counter offense, but we're still early in this match. Into the corner she goes. And oh good God, we are going to see an avalanche. You know folks, I don't ask for a lot of avalanches, but at least one per show would be nice. But the godmother has other ideas. And once again, I am as disappointed as Ernie the cameraman's wife is night after night. Sick burn. We are going out of the ring and straight onto the cardboard. Madrina with the run-up and the shotgun dropkick. And you see this, Ernie the cameraman? You see how horrible I can make your job for you? This is what happens. I know it was you that ate my Sour Patch Kids, so let this be a lesson to you. Stiff knee sent into the cardboard, and now for the good old-fashioned ground and pound. With a cheeky little slap across the bow just to shovel on the disrespect. We're finally seeing the godmother rise from her slumber, and she is gonna be wanting some comeuppance. Good gravy, straight into the ring post. That one's gonna leave a bruise, and Left Eye is looking to take flight. Down goes the second story elbow drop, but we got the last minute evasion from the godmother. We got the whip, and we are going back in the ring. Left Eye did not come here to play patty cake tonight, and she has got some choice words. I can't repeat any of them, but we all know what they are. We got an over-the-leg snapmare and some stiff shots with the knees. Ooh, that one did the damage. Madrina taken to the apron. Hitting the elbow drop from the slingshot, and my God, does she have pointy elbows. Going up top, and there goes the frog splash. At least I think it was a frog splash. Some kind of amphibian. She's realizing she's got a threat on her hands, and she gets the fireman's carry takeover. And boom goes the knee drop. If the godmother's got any protective sorcery, she better whip it out now. But she gets shunted into the corner. But she is not staying there. Jumping neck breaker. Boom goes the knee drop. We got a backflip and another knee drop. But it gets so much worse from there. Because we are about to see it, folks. Boom! There goes the sultry elbow drop. Can she get the pin? 1, 2. Ooh, nearly there, but let's see that again. This might not have been any dark sorcery, but it was exactly the comeback the godmother needed to get back in the game. That's a whole lot of knees and elbows we just saw, and that's going to need a whole lot of ice packs when this is all said and done. But unfortunately, those big bags of ice cost money, so she's going to have to make do with frozen peas and whatever she can scrounge from the ice cube trays. Which reminds me, did anybody remember to refill the ice cube trays? Because I know it's not my job. The tide of this match is turned, and the godmother is looking to make her opponent pay. There's the whip into the corner, but nobody puts Madrina in the corner. Devastating axe kick, made all the more painful from those stiletto heels. And remind me again, why do we let our wrestlers wrestle in stiletto heels? That's got to be an OSH violation right there, and here comes a good old-fashioned slobber knocker. And thankfully, the people of OSH are a bunch of crybabies from the rich part of town. They're too scared to come to Linwood, so I don't think we got anything to worry about. Nobody out there wants to touch this promotion, and that includes all the paper pushers who make the rules. Both of these wrestlers are giving as good as they're getting. And boom! I felt that step up enziguri from here. 1, 2. Kick out just after the 2. But it looks like somebody else is going to be needing frozen bags of peas and loose ice cubes. Nobody is walking out of this thing unscathed. We're seeing a whole lot of damage being done in a short amount of time. In comes the godmother with the cutthroat side slam. We got the lockup, and Left Eye is kicking out. Round and round we go, and oh good brother! Referee Henrietta Sorensen takes a little collateral damage. The godmother is not letting up when it comes to bringing the pain, and when all else fails, the trusty ground and pound. Apparently, the riot we had last week did nothing to dull the bloodthirst of this Linwood crowd, And we got some shenanigans with the turnbuckle cover. Left eye in the corner, and she takes a meteora. Oh wow, that kind of rhymes. I didn't plan that one. Whoa, what the hell is going on? I am seriously freaking out right now, folks. But apparently, referee Henrietta Sorensen is totally cool with a wrestler siphoning another wrestler's soul. What the hell did we even see? Run it back, Ernie. We got a few wrestlers here that lean into the dark arts, and I try to give them a wide berth. But I never imagined I would see anything like this in the ring. You all laughed at me when I purchased that magic egg from the coven to protect myself against dark sorcery. But who's laughing now? But folks, I don't even know where to begin with this. That is some bad juju right there. Madrina going for a pin on Left Eye's lifeless corpse. 1, 2, 3. La Madrina takes the win. Let's see some highlights from Ernie the cameraman. Folks, if you had told me that tonight I would be seeing a wrestler literally siphoning out the soul of her opponent, I would have said pull the other one. Call me a wet blanket or a stick in the mud, but I think we should start making rules about these kind of things. If wrestlers can come in here and siphon off the souls of their opponents, where does it end? It was one thing when the Violator ripped that guy's spine out through his throat at that show in Timaru. Everyone can enjoy that. But this is something else entirely. Congratulations to the godmother La Madrina for her victory tonight. And after seeing that little soul siphoning display earlier, I am now afraid to even think bad things about her. She is officially more evil and dangerous than her predecessor El Padrino. And who do we even have on the roster besides maybe the members of the Coven who can stand against that kind of dark sorcery? Folks, this is going to be a fascinating glimpse into the match that could have been. We all thought that when the Kalishnikov brothers took their shot for the title, they would be facing Urban Legion. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out that way and both teams got beat by the Cockney Pickpockets. In the case of the Kalishnikov brothers, it was what you would call a very questionable victory. Nevertheless, this is the match that could have been, and it's going to be an absolute ripper. Let's go ringside right now and see an absolute clinic in tag team wrestling. The following tag match is scheduled for 1-4. Introducing first, from Rostov-on-Don, Siberia in Russia, Nikolai Kalishnikov and Grigory Kalishnikov are the Kalishnikov brothers. Folks, I am still struggling to process what we just saw before, but thankfully this match will be absolutely free of any kind of dark sorcery, I hope. Nevertheless, this is going to be a fascinating glimpse into the match that could have been. We all assumed the Kalishnikov brothers would be facing Urban Legion when they came for the championship, but alas, it was not so, and both teams got beaten by the Cockney Pickpockets. And as we all saw, the Pickpockets' victory against the Kalishnikov brothers was very sketchy. But let's hope for a relatively clean match tonight. And their opponents, from Chicago, Illinois in the United States, Hannibal Barker and Marcus Antonius are Urban Legion. Don't be fooled by their gangster swagger, folks. Marcus Antonius and Hannibal Barker are two history nerds from the suburbs of Chicago. Why they feel the need to act like gangsters and thugs for credibility is anybody's guess, but don't be fooled. These two know more about the Punic Wars and the late Roman Republic than I ever will, and I'm a gigantic history nerd. Nevertheless, if Urban Legion can take the victory tonight, that may be just what they need to get back in the game. Losing to the Cockney Pickpockets is embarrassing for anyone, so these boys badly need a win. Referee Tom Herb rings the bell and we are waiting in. Grigori laying him out with a stiff punch and following through with the elbow drop. And I'd like to thank whichever idiot is firing up the weed whacker outside this abandoned warehouse, and I hope it's not bleeding too much. Marcus Antonius hitting the moonsault. Can he get the pin? 1. Kick out on the 1. And speaking of weed whackers, why do we never see weed whackers and chainsaws coming out at death matches? Grigori hoisting him up and straight down into a gutbuster. He is revved up and in the mood for trouble. I mean, sure, maybe a couple of people might lose a finger or an eye, but chainsaws and weed whackers and death matches would be just the kind of thing to make me watch WWE again. We are not about to see an avalanche this early on, no siree, Bob. Stunned against the ropes. Marcus Antonius hitting the Arabian press into a Hurricane Rana. He is one of the best high flyers we've got, and he is no stranger to the springboard. But down he goes. And down goes the falling punch, straight into the old melon. We are back on our feet. There goes a little Bolshoi ballet, and Grigori is in the corner. Those punches are hitting nothing but air, and we got the reversal, and he is in the corner. There goes the tag to Nikolai, and let's see what these two have got for us. Up he goes into a 2-person military press and straight down. And just a little something called Thunder Valley. Nikolai raining down the stiff shots, and he is determined to make his opponent pay. And speaking of paying, we are no longer charging admission to the toilets, as long as all of you promise not to riot tonight. Marcus with the run-up, hitting a springboard and a corkscrew enziguri. And although we will not be charging admission to the toilet, we will still be charging per sheet of toilet paper. At least until all you people learn to stop being so damn greedy. Hurricane Rana gets counted into a sit-out powerbomb. But because we are so magnanimous and we really don't want another riot like last week, we are giving 50% off all sheets of toilet paper, as long as you all promise not to riot tonight. Nikolai gets whipped into the corner. Marcus getting that scoop, and straight into the tree of woe he goes. There's never a happy ending to any story with a tree of woe, and this ain't gonna be one of them. Devastating double stomp sends him down. There's the tag to Hannibal, and this match just got a lot more aggressive. Marcus Antonius is the high flyer of the group, but Hannibal Barker is every inch the scrapper. Nikolai Kalishnikov looking to smother his opponent. Hannibal is not getting a word in, and we got some more Bolshoi ballet, and straight into the corner. This is a bad position to be in right here, and Hannibal Barker is taking full advantage. Nikolai laid up in the corner, and Hannibal looking to get the run-up, but we got the counter. And by we, I mean Nikolai. All I've got is this bottle of off-brand cola and this magic egg I purchased from the Coven, which we've already established was a sensible purchase. And if any of you out there want to purchase a magic egg to protect yourself against dark sorcery, we got them for sale at the merch stand. And out of the ring goes Hannibal. Nikolai looking to take flight. Boom! Massive body splash to the cardboard. If Hannibal Barker was carrying a magic egg in his pocket, that thing is an omelette. And you may very well be wondering, why would a wrestling promotion sell protective magic eggs? Because we care. Other wrestling promotions might not care if their audience gets hexed or has their souls siphoned, but we do. That, and they're a big seller. We are back in the ring, and this match is back on the rails. Hannibal countering the bear hug with a nasty bell clap. And nothing fancy there, just a good old-fashioned faceplant straight into the canvas. And there's a little scrub against the mat just to add some insult to injury. Nikolai is going to be feeling that stomp to the back later. And it's yet another thing you've got to wonder, how is this legal? A lot of the basic moves you see in any wrestling match are all banned in every legitimate combat sport. But that's just what makes pro wrestling so special. I mean, could you imagine if a UFC fighter stomped his opponent's back or put him in a Texas piledriver? My God, heads a roll. And there's the tag to Marcus. Folks, we're about to see something very special. And boom! That was Decimatio. A body splash and a leg drop at the same time. 1, 2. Let's take another gander at that bad boy. Decimatio is from whence we derive the word decimate. If a Roman legion really screwed up, they divided into groups of 10 men. When one of them drew the short straw, the other 9 would beat him to death with their bare hands. It's a hell of a team-building exercise, and something you might want to try at your next work retreat. This has been a good showing from the Legion so far, but we are still very much in the early stages of this match. Into the corner again, but the tag is denied. Beautiful German suplex, courtesy of Nikolai. Out of the ring and right back in. There goes the whip and straight into the corner. There's the tag. Round and round we go. Look at the momentum on that clothesline. Superman punch misses the mark and we are going to the cardboard. And if any other wrestling promotion starts laying out cardboard by ringside, you can bet your ass we're gonna sue. If they start doing Minotaur and Cyclops matches, well, you know what? They can have those because we don't want to do them anymore. Well, at least I don't. We're seeing a good old-fashioned slugging fest. Stiff headbutt sends him to the cardboard. And somebody asked me the other day, are those Kalishnikov brothers Russian? To which I replied, nope, they're going at their own pace. Yeah, I knew you'd like that one. Nikolai looking to take flight. Boom! Clocking Hannibal with the sweet crossbody. Now he's scaling the barricade. Boom! Diving senton hits the mark. You sunk my battleship. And I don't know why, but that just reminds me of when the Pacific and Baltic fleets of the Russian Navy got sunk by the Japanese in less than an hour during the Russo-Japanese War. My mind goes to strange places indeed, and it's hard to tell who got the worst from that diving senton. Nikolai better haul ass to the ring because we do not want another count out and another Riot, and we are back on the rails. Whip into the ropes and Hannibal with the body block. So far, referee Tom Herb has managed not to screw this match up, but there's still plenty of time for that, and there's the tag to Marcus. Diving senton misses the mark. There goes the tag to Grigori. I'm getting slightly better at pronouncing Grigori's name, so I gotta give myself a little pat on the back. I'll get there someday. I've just gotta remind myself that somewhere in the frozen Siberian wastes, there's a wrestling commentator named Ivan who struggles to pronounce the name Gregory. And I'm pretty sure those wrestling promotions have bear and wolf matches with actual bears and wolves. And folks, we get to see an avalanche. Oh, this is gonna be sweet. This is a big old tick on my bingo card. Sweet, merciful crap! We gotta see that again. That right there was the most badass avalanche I've ever seen. We saw a wrestler getting their soul siphoned out last match, but that avalanche to the cardboard is the most mind-blowing thing I've seen tonight. As far as avalanches go, I give this one a perfect 5 stars, and I challenge anybody to tell me why it's not. And this Linwood crowd absolutely agrees with me. I don't know why this Linwood crowd feels the need to put on American accents, but hell, they paid their money, they can do what they want. I guarantee both of those guys are going to be feeling that avalanche later on. There's the drive into the corner. Tag to Nikolai and let's see what they got. Oh yeah, we're going to see it, folks. If you thought the avalanche to the cardboard was cool, boom, that was the Trans-Siberian Express. Roll it back, Ernie. There is no stopping this particular freight train. We got a powerbomb and a clothesline colliding in a brutal show of force. When somebody gets hit by the Trans-Siberian Express, that's gotta be lights out. And I'll be shocked if there's any getting up from this one. Will that do for the pin? And there's the breakup. The brothers are starting to fight back, and Marcus is being put through the grinding mill. If they can keep Hannibal out of it and just keep working Marcus, the brothers might have a chance of pulling this one off. And while I've got everybody's attention, let's have a look and see what's in the Lost and Found this week. We have a VHS tape of what looks like a Mexican puppet show from the 70s. If nobody wants to claim it, then I'm going to be watching some Mexican puppets when I get home. Actually, come to think of it, I think I've heard of this puppet show before. There was an infamous episode where one of the eyes on the cat puppet popped out, pinged the camera, and traumatized a whole generation of Mexican children. God, I hope that one's on this tape. But I gotta hand it to whoever was working that cat puppet. They didn't break character for a second and just kept on going with one eye. If anything, that made it even more traumatic for all the little kiddies watching. But in this business, that's what we call keeping kayfabe, and I approve. Up and over the ropes goes Grigori. Marcus Antonius with a cheeky grab, sending him head first to the apron. We got a ripcord Spanish fly, and I hate to say it, but Kimberly Sullivan does it better. And I just realized I've spent over a minute talking about an obscure Mexican puppet show from the 70s. That's a whole minute that you'll never get back. We got the 1, 2, and 3 atomic drops. That one's gonna leave it. Hey, guys, mind the desk. So anyway, I think the show's called Pepito and Friends. I believe the cat puppet was named Jorge, and for whatever reason, they made him grossly obese. And if I'm being honest, he kind of freaks me out. We are back in the ring, and I am going to stop talking about obscure Mexican puppet shows from the 70s, but that was a lucky find. Hannibal revving up for something big. Grigori getting worked like a heavy bag. There goes the whip into the ropes, and a stiff clothesline knocks him to the mat. And man, if you thought this show was low budget, then you gotta see Pepito and Friends. Compared to that show, this one looks like Avatar. And because I don't habla the Espanol, I'm not entirely sure just from looking at the box whether Jorge the obese cat is one of Pepito's friends, or some kind of antagonist. I'm hoping there'll be something there in the subtext, and folks, we're about to see it. Hannibal is reaping the whirlwind. And boom! There goes the Siberian Crucifix. A devastating move from Grigori Kalishnikov. Let's take another look. Grigori Kalishnikov saw the razor's edge as done by the late great Scott Hall, and he asked himself, how can I make this move more brutal? And what we got was the Siberian Crucifix. After that devastating move, it's gotta be all over. Is that gonna do for the pin? 1, 2, kick out after the 2. And folks, if you don't want wrestling commentators talking about obscure Mexican puppet shows, then don't bring VHS tapes to wrestling shows and leave them lying around. Let that one be a lesson to you all. Grigori pinning the leg and Nikolai coming in with a stomp. The brothers Kalishnikov are turning the screws. And here comes Nikolai with the tried and true Kalishnikov special. Can he get the pin? Pin gets broken up. Nikolai is determined to get that pin come hell or high water. Going for the drop, and he's got the leg lock. Can he make him tap or snap? Hannibal is trying to fight his way out, and he is an absolute trooper. But he looks like he's about to power his way out, and there he goes. Any kind of submission is always a bit of a crapshoot, but it was worth a shot. There goes the tag to Marcus. Running in, getting the roll-up and looking to work a submission of his own. But Nikolai is powering out, and there goes a little blood. This is a match that's really gone the distance, and I gotta say, this one has been an absolute clinic. Can he get the pin? 1, 2, kick out on the 2. Whichever way this one goes, we have seen some stellar wrestling from all 4 of these competitors. The whip into the corner. Tag to Hannibal. And folks, we're about to see another Decimatio. And boom, there it goes. Is that gonna do for the pin? What? Broken up on the 1. That one could have been the 1. Nikolai kicking back, and down goes Hannibal. We're seeing a lot of welts and bruises. Nikolai going for the scoop, but Hannibal gives him the slip. Whip into the corner. And there's the tag to Marcus. Looking to fly the friendly skies. And boom! Assisted shoulder block. That was sweet. And Nikolai is back on the cardboard. Whatever else the crowd may or may not see later tonight, they have got their money's worth with this match. Marcus scaling the barricade. Hitting that flyover neck breaker. And just a reminder to the people in the front row, please don't push the wrestlers off the barricade, no matter how funny it may be. This one's gonna have to go back in the ring sooner or later, but we are gonna have some more fun with the barricade. Nikolai lines them up, and boom! Russian leg sweep into the barricade. He's cutting it pretty fine as far as the count. And just a friendly reminder that we do not need another count out and another Riot. Boom! There goes a second story elbow drop. Say what you will about wrestling, but there is no faking gravity. Marcus firing back and looking to turn the tables. Back in the ring we go. And here comes Marcus in hot pursuit with a splash off the slingshot. We're getting deeper into the match, and this one is going to come down to who's got the better cardio. Whip into the corner. But Nikolai is not staying there. There goes the drive right into the ropes. But Marcus has got the counter, and up and over he goes. Tag to Hannibal on the outside, and he's looking to stitch this one up. At least he should be. But he is not taking any chances, and Grigori is eating a few stiff shots. And down to the cardboard he goes, and we are back in the ring. Nikolai firing off his salvo of strikes and a very stiff elbow. Swing and a miss. 1, 2, and 3 atomic drops. Good gravy, look at the distance on that uppercut. Can he get the pin? 1, 2, 3. Urban Legion takes the win. Let's go see some highlights from Ernie the cameraman. This match right here was an absolute clinic in tag team wrestling, given by 4 of the best in our men's tag division. We got some inspiring tag teams in developmental, and believe me when I say we are going to make them study every last frame of this match, because folks, this is how it's done. Urban Legion may have taken the victory tonight, but even they'll be the first to admit the Kalishnikov brothers made them work their asses off for it. It's strange to think that both of these teams were beaten by the Cockney pickpockets. But then again, life is not an obscure Mexican puppet show from the 70s, so these things happen. The boys from Urban Legion will be celebrating tonight, and I'll be watching some Mexican puppets courtesy of the Lost and Found. Congratulations to Marcus Antonius and Hannibal Barker of Urban Legion for this victory tonight. This win was exactly what Urban Legion needed to get back in the game and back on track. If they were looking to take those titles back, this is a great first step. Folks, here's a brand new recruit from our developmental program and the undisputed king of the Indian deathmatch scene, the one and only Ash Kali. He's making his debut tonight and facing off against a man many would call a jobber's jobber, the Iceberg Jacob Berg. The Mumbai Maulers deathmatches were infamously bloody, and one has to wonder, can this humble promotion contain this man's bloodlust? Let's go ringside right now and find out. The following match is scheduled for 1 fall. Introducing first, from Mumbai, India, he is the Mumbai Mauler, Ash Kali. Folks, I'm not afraid to admit, this dude really gives me the willies. He was pretty much the king of hardcore death matches back in India, and he is not afraid to get his hands a little bloody. But here's something really disturbing that may shock and horrify you. I saw him in the cafeteria earlier, and he was eating a burrito with a knife and fork. If that doesn't deeply disturb you, here's something else. Back in India, he got some fan mail, and when he replied to it, he wrote best regards instead of yours truly. I'm telling you, this guy is an absolute monster, and I worry that we are not equipped as a promotion to handle his level of bloodlust. But on the other hand, I'm not wrestling him, so it's not really my problem. I'd say it sucks to be the iceberg, but then again, it always sucks to be the iceberg. And his opponent, from Providence, Rhode Island in the United States, he is the Iceberg, Jacob Berg. If you look up the expression jobber in the wrestling dictionary, you'll find a picture of the iceberg. He barely scraped through developmental, and I guarantee he will never come within a mile of any championship. It's probably not the wrestling career he wanted, but after the disastrous and very gruesome way his career as a stage magician ended, he's not really in a position to be picky. I've always found it deeply ironic that he's injured a lot less people as a wrestler than he did as a stage magician. But one thing's for sure, he is entertaining as hell to watch. Referee Henrietta Sorensen rings the bell, and it looks like we've got the makings of a very tense standoff. The Mumbai Mauler looks like he's trying to figure out the cruelest thing he can do to his opponent, which is probably to starve him of the attention he so desperately craves, and we've got a game of kinetic chess. There goes the drive into the corner. Referee Henrietta Sorensen getting in to break things up, and we have another incursion from that rogue Fox Terrier. It's looking pretty grim for the iceberg already, and this Fox Terrier has once again snuck in without paying. It would be nice if he could pay us back that $70 worth of food he ate last week during the riot, but I've got a feeling we're just going to have to eat that loss ourselves. Another drive into the ropes. Referee Henrietta Sorensen coming to break things up again. Cheeky little shot from Ash Carly, and the referee was not happy about that. Then again, referee Henrietta Sorensen hasn't been happy since she got this gig. Nor does she deserve to be, because she is a rude, entitled little Kardashian. At least according to her uncle, General Manager Todd Sorensen. Ash Carly taking the lead, but the Iceberg's got the reversal. If the Iceberg can take the win tonight, maybe the other wrestlers will stop laughing at him behind his back. At least that's what he hopes. Ash Carly is just getting started, and look at all those scars crisscrossing his body. He is a veteran of many a death match. Iceberg grabs him by the neck, up and over, and boom! Rolling neck breaker. Can he get the early pin? What? Oh, for God's sakes. That'll teach him for putting his feet on the ropes for leverage. There goes the whip into the ropes. Iceberg goes low, Iceberg goes high. Iceberg goes around and gets clocked with a clothesline. The Mumbai Mauler stomping a mud hole in his opponent, or possibly 3 or 4 mud holes. Bret Hart always said nobody ever won a fight with a chop, and certainly not with a chop like that. That was pathetic. That was a decent Russian leg sweep though. Ash Carly kicking back, and down goes the Iceberg. Ash Carly working him like a puppet, and boom goes the knee to the face. And speaking of puppets, man, I can't wait to watch Pepito and Friends when this show is over. Up and over the shoulder the Iceberg goes, and out of the ring. Thanks for playing, see you later. Ash Carly going topside. Looking to make a splash, but the Iceberg gets the knees up. And if you want to make a splash, we got some brand new Mumbai Mauler shirts for sale at the merch stand. If the Iceberg was less concerned with showboating and looking flashy, maybe he could win a match one of these days. Just a suggestion. We have yet to see any blood yet, and to be honest, I'm a little disappointed. Good gravy! Straight into the ring post he goes. I was watching a few of Ash Carly's death matches back in India, and man, those things got really bloody. I guess I was hoping to see a little of that bloodlust tonight, but there's still plenty of time. And what could be more humiliating than having your face smushed along the cardboard like that? This one's gotta go back in the ring real soon, and it looks like we are on our way there. In goes Ash Carly, and the Iceberg is in hot pursuit. Or should I say cold pursuit, because he's the Iceberg. It's been a long time since I've done any ice-related puns, and I feel a bit remiss. Skade with the neck breaker. He is very good at that particular move, and he has broken many a neck with it. Here's a bit of collar and elbow, and the whip into the corner. The iceberg is laid up, and good God, those are some brutal face scrapes there. The iceberg ain't pretty no more. Skade putting the boots to the iceberg. This Linwood crowd is counting as best they can, but numeracy has never been their strong point, and numbers higher than 5 are tricky. Mumbai Mauler coming in with some vicious blows. Iceberg looking to power his way out of the headlock. Iceberg grabs him by the head, and there's a stiff shot to send him to the mat. Skade crawling to the corner. But he is not staying there. And folks, we are gonna see it. This is a little something called the Mumbai Neckbreaker. Good God, that one looked like it really hurt. What the crap is going on? Now you see him, now you don't. You've still got it, Iceberg. Drive into the ropes. Up and over the iceberg goes, but let's see some replays. We just saw quite a bit happen in a short amount of time, and here it is in slow motion. The Mumbai Neckbreaker may be a deadly move, but the iceberg still has a trick or two up his sleeve. I suppose it's good that some of his skills as a stage magician carried over to the ring. But hopefully his opponents won't die gruesome deaths like his last 5 stage assistants. The iceberg is laid out on the cardboard. That's probably the best place for him, and if he can just pretend to be unconscious, he can still get out of this thing with a little dignity. But Skade is nowhere near done putting his opponent through the grinding mill. We are back on our feet. We got another pathetic attempt at a slap from the iceberg, as well as a fireman's carry takeover. And to all the aspiring wrestlers in our developmental program, just remember that if the iceberg can graduate, so can you. Good gravy! Referee Henrietta Sorensen taking a little collateral damage, and guys, that was not cool. Just remember who her uncle is. There goes the whip into the ropes, and a beautiful release suplex on the rebound. And call me old-fashioned, but guys, hitting a girl, not cool. That is not how we do things here. Dragging the iceberg by the scruff of the neck and face first into the turnbuckle. And there's the tried and true scoop slam. Skade taken to the top rope. It's looking pretty grim for the iceberg. Skade stalking his prey, and boom! There goes the Kali Cleaver. Can he get the pin? 1, 2, 3. Skade takes the win. Let's go see some highlights from Ernie the cameraman. As far as debuts go, what can I tell you folks? Skade was playing this one on easy mode by being pitted against the iceberg. But I gotta say, I'm definitely seeing something there, and I'd be very curious to see how he goes against an opponent who can actually wrestle. I'm sure he's faced the electric gigolo a few times in developmental, and I'd be very curious to see how that match would pan out here on the MainLine. I'd also be very curious to see him in his element wrestling in a Linwood death match. It's early days and there's still plenty of time for all that, but I think we got something here, folks. Congratulations to the Mumbai Mauler Skade for his victory in this debut match. He's still got a ways to go to win over this Linwood crowd, and that right there is going to be the litmus test. In the meantime, it wouldn't kill him to get some better looking gear now that he's made it to the MainLine. But that's just a suggestion. Take it or leave it, folks. Take it or leave it. Folks, I may not like it any more than you. Unfortunately, rules are rules. La Femme Brutale Marisa DuValier won last week's Minotaur and Cyclops match fair and square, so she gets her title shot. If she can take the victory tonight, it'll be her second time as champion, as well as the second belt for Broforce 1's collection. But to get her hands on that belt, she's gonna have to take it from the cold dead hands of one of the greatest wrestlers we have ever had, Lady Liberty, Maggie Dixon. I've personally got money riding on the outcome of this match, so let's go ringside right now and see what the financial damage is gonna be. The following LWL Women's World Championship match is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first the challenger. Representing Broforce 1 and accompanied by her manager, Corey 312. From Marseille, France, she is La Femme Brutale, Marisa DuValier. Just for the record, folks, I am not crazy about the idea of Marisa DuValier becoming women's champion again. Not just because I'm a big Lady Liberty fan, but because I am deeply uncomfortable with Broforce 1 having any championships. But as it stands, she won that Minotaur and Cyclops match fair and square, so she gets her shot. But I got my fingers crossed for a humiliating defeat. And her opponent, and current LWL Women's World Champion, from Libertyville, Alabama in the United States, she is a one-woman rampage. She is Lady Liberty, Maggie Dixon. Behold, you mere mortals of Linwood, this is what a real wrestling champion looks like. In the very unlikely event that Lady Liberty doesn't win tonight, nobody is going to be more unhappy about that than me. And nobody is going to be happier than the sleazy bookie I made a $300 bet with. Oh god, you gotta win this thing, Maggie. My thumbs break easily. But then again, I've only ever seen Lady Liberty lose once last year to the prototype Nikita Kalishnikov. So I have every reason to believe that tonight won't be the second time. Otherwise, I'm really hoping somebody will buy this pair of trousers I found in the dumpster for $300. But here's the good news, folks. For our referee tonight, we have been able to acquire the services of the referee Zekajahira Mayabesh Jones. That's right, the referee Zekajahira Mayabesh Jones. Referee Zekajahira Mayabesh Jones is a real referee's referee, and he is the best referee we've got. While I have no doubt that Marisa's odious manager Corey 312 will try a little monkey business, I have every confidence that referee Zekajahira Mayabesh Jones can keep this thing on the rails. And funny thing about referee Zekajahira Mayabesh Jones, he really doesn't like it when people call him Zek. It's Zekajahira Mayabesh or nothing. And I know I say this every time, but just look at that magnificent belt that my dog Jasko designed. Marisa DuValier not even waiting for the bell, and she is running in with a flying Superman punch. Lady Liberty firing right back with a jawbreaker and a dropkick. That was some scummy behavior on the part of La Femme Brutale, but I would expect nothing less. And now she goes for the ground and pound. The front row of this crowd is on its feet, and they should bloody well sit down so everybody else can see. But one thing's for sure, Marisa DuValier did not come here tonight for a good clean fight. And into the corner she goes. And there's the counter. Going for the jumping knee, but missing the mark. Jumping front kick knocks her off her feet. Marisa is in the mood for a scrap tonight, and she doesn't care who knows it. And speaking of scrap, in the unlikely event Lady Liberty doesn't win tonight, does anybody want to buy the copper pipes in my apartment? $300 cash. I'll even throw in a VHS copy of everybody's favorite obscure Mexican puppet show from the 70s, Pepito and Friends. But not until I've watched it. La Femme Brutale with the kick to the back and the lariat, sending her down. Oh, I'm sorry, Marisa. Are we all boring you? And what the hell is that hammer doing in the Oh, for God's sakes. Let's face it, folks, it was only a matter of time. We've got a missing turnbuckle cover and a game of kinetic chess. Referee Zekajahira Mayabesh Jones is on the job, and we got the drive to the corner. That one just seemed to fall apart on its own weight, but Maggie is back in the corner and taking the shots, but she is not staying there. There goes the whip into the ropes, and a lovely tilt-a-whirl power slam. There is no denying the wrestling skill of Lady Liberty, and that's why she's my favorite. I should really get her to scare off those debt collectors. they'd be crapping their pants. Marisa DuValier slammed into the mat over and over again. Maggie Dixon taken to the apron, and up comes Marisa DuValier. Hitting that slingshot, and that was a beautiful missile dropkick. I have never seen her do that before, and she is going topside. Looking to take to the air, and there goes the splash, but Marisa gets the knees up. And that's something they really should teach you in those airplane safety videos. If somebody's trying to hit you with a body splash or a moonsault, get your knees up. And folks, that's my free safety tip for the night. The next one will cost you $300. Cash. And we just saw that exposed turnbuckle get used to devastating effect. Marisa with the drive-by dropkick. I can see the hand of Corey 312 in that missing turnbuckle cover. Up and over the ropes she goes onto the apron, and she gets clocked with a stunner. La Femme Brutale rolling out to the cardboard. And what do you know, there's that sledgehammer from before. Marisa grabbing her by the scruff of the neck and face first into the barricade. Normally I'd be concerned for Lady Liberty's well-being, but I've seen her come through much tougher scrapes than this, and back into the barricade she goes. But apparently the fun doesn't end there, because there's a Russian leg sweep. We're over the 6 count, so this one's gotta go back in the ring. In goes Maggie Dixon, and Marisa DuValier is in hot pursuit, or at the very least, lukewarm pursuit. Marisa tagging her with a kick, Maggie goes for the headbutt, but nobody home, and we have seen this particular combination before, and it's always deadly. Down she goes. But let's get another look in slow-mo. Marisa DuValier is one of the best strikers in our women's division, and she has had a lot of luck with this particular combination. It seems to be working for her tonight, but it'll take a lot more than that to break the back of the American horse. I'm a little amazed we haven't seen any blood yet, but I suppose there's still plenty of time for that. Into the corner goes Lady Liberty. Marisa with the run-up and straight into the French Bulldog, or Bulldog du Francais. Can she get the pin? 1, 2, kick out just after the 2. And one of these days, I'm going to have some viewers from France tell me, hey, your French is rubbish. But until I can afford a translator, Google Translate is what I'm stuck with. Marisa DuValier lining her up. Going in for the drive-by, and there's the dodge. Sticking that code breaker with those pointy knees. La Femme Brutale looking to take to the friendly skies. Down she goes with a double stomp to the gut, but can she get the pin? 1, kick out just after the 1. Lady Liberty rolling out of the ring, and this one is going to the cardboard. I gotta say, she looks like she's in a fair amount of pain, but as I said before, I've seen her come through worse scrapes than this. Maggie Dixon hitting that dragon screw. Down goes the falling elbow. And Maggie, because I'm such a huge fan, I will allow you and only you to trash my desk. It would be an honor to have my desk trashed by Lady Liberty. Down goes the falling axe handle. And I don't just mean for this match. Anytime you need to trash my desk, you have my permission. That right there is not a privilege I'm extending to anybody else. If the rest of you slack-jawed troglodytes on the roster want to trash my desk, you do so at your own peril. I know where you live, I know which lockers are yours, and I have access to a whole lot of dog poo. We're starting to see the tide of this match turning in Lady Liberty's favor. Down goes the DDT. And folks, just imagine for a second if this show became the biggest thing in the world. I'm talking big to a point where other wrestling promotions would start using the expression going to the cardboard when they didn't even have cardboard. And if any of those promotions do start laying out cardboard, you can bet your ass we're gonna sue. We are very protective of this cardboard, and we had to order a lot of pizzas to get it. But as long as it's hell pizza and I'm not paying for it, then I've got no complaints about that particular part of it. Lady Liberty clocking her with a massive headbutt. And as always, we give the disclaimer that Maggie Dixon had a steel plate implanted in her head when she was 7 when she fell off the jungle gym. So unless you also have a steel plate implanted in your head, don't try this one at home unless your mum says it's okay. And if your mum does say it's okay, then report her to child services for being a negligent monster. Lady Liberty clocking her with the back elbow. Clothesline sending Marisa DuValier straight to the mat. Lady Liberty grabbing her by the scruff of the neck, and where are we going? Straight to the ropes. And folks, we are gonna see it. Shazam! That was the Liberty Bell DDT. We gotta see that one again in slow-mo. And if slow-mo wasn't cool enough, we are getting the bird's eye view on this bad boy. Nice job, Ernie the cameraman. But it still doesn't change the fact that both of your kids think you suck. But once again, nice replay. Is that gonna do for the pin? What the hell is going on? Corey 312 is distracting referee Zeka Jeremiah Jones. What? And a kick out on the 2. And that would have been a victory for Lady Liberty if referee Zeka Jeremiah Jones hadn't been distracted. So folks, as far as I'm concerned, Lady Liberty has already won this match. I'm really hoping my bookie sees it that way, but I guess I'll find out sooner or later. Lady Liberty coming in with a sidewalk slam. Marisa DuValier looking to the corner for safety. Maggie Dixon weaponizing that steel plate in her forehead once again. Can she get the pin? 1, 2. Kick out just after the 2. And folks, I got a real bad feeling about this. This is some shady stuff we're seeing indeed. And I don't like where this is going. Good gravy! There's the brass knuckles. That was absolutely disgusting. Marisa DuValier knows she can't win this one clean, so she is cheating like hell. You want to see the evidence, folks? Run it back in slow-mo, Ernie. Okay, folks, look closely right here. And there goes the brass knuckles. And whatever you do, Ernie the cameraman, do not lose this footage, because this could be grounds for an appeal. Going for the pin. 1, 2. And a kick out after the 2. I wish I could say I was shocked, but this is exactly what Broforce 1 does. Maggie Dixon coming in with the Bulldog. Marisa DuValier was trying to bully referee Zeka Jeremiah Jones there, but we do not tolerate bullies here. Lady Liberty starting a one-woman anti-bullying campaign with that massive body splash. Looking to get some payback against La Femme Brutale, but Marisa's got the arm wringer. And here it comes, folks. Boom! That was the Brazier de Visage. Can she get the pin this time? 1, 2, and a kick out just after the 2. Broforce 1 was not expecting this level of resistance. But Maggie Dixon is not about to take anybody's crap. Marisa raining down the cheap shots with another ground and pound. She knows she can't win clean, so the rulebook just went straight out the window. And there's Exhibit A. La Femme Brutale is not giving her opponent the chance to get up. If this were a legitimate combat sport, we would have seen the towel thrown in a long time ago. But we are not a bunch of wusses and crybabies here. This is professional wrestling. La Femme Brutale with a double stomp to the gut. We just can't seem to stay away from that cardboard now, can we? Oh, God. No. I said Maggie could trash the disc. After that deplorable behavior, you don't get that privilege. Even if you take the win tonight, you can still expect to find a few kilos of dog poo in your locker. And I'm going to allow that one because that was Maggie using the disc to punish somebody I don't like. Lady Liberty back on the cardboard once again. Marisa goes for the kick, but Maggie's got the counter. Beautiful backdrop suplex. La Femme Brutale gives her the shove. And I gotta say, this is a match that's been up, down, and all around. Oh, no. Oh, come on. There is still a commentator hiding under this disc, and he does not appreciate the way you're treating his favorite wrestler. And after last week, the last thing we need is another countout and another ensuing riot. Marisa looking to go topside and reset that count. Down she goes, but the kick misses the mark. Lady Liberty lays her out with a dropkick. And there's the shove-off. Marisa DuValier going for another ground and pound. Maggie Dixon has more grit than any wrestler I've ever seen in my life. So I'm not shocked that she's still in this thing. I just hope she can bring it on home. And come on, is this really necessary? You've made your point. I know which locker is yours, Marisa, and I also know a Saint Bernard who's just had a really big dinner. It would sure be a shame if a certain wrestler found their locker overflowing with canine excrement, and my god, that was close. Lady Liberty coming back with another devastating headbutt, and there's, my god, how do you kick out of that? Going for the rampaging headbait, but La Femme Brutale is cutting her off. Snapmare! Going for that drive-by, but Maggie Dixon says increase the piece of the hood. Stiff punch from Lady Liberty. Up she goes, and straight back down into a powerbomb. The American Eagle looking to take flight once again. Going for that second story elbow drop, but nobody home. Neither one of these contenders is ready to cry sassafras just yet. Rampaging headbutt misses the mark, and she goes into the ropes. Decapitated with a stunner. But thankfully not literally. My god, how awful would that be? Going in for another pin. 1, 2, 3. Marisa DuValier takes the championship, and I am officially out $300. Let's go see some highlights from Ernie the cameraman. Folks, as I said before, as far as I'm concerned, Lady Liberty won this match. Had referee Zekajahira Mayabesh Jones not been distracted by Corey 312, Lady Liberty would have got the pin. Unfortunately, I don't make the rules around here, so I don't know if there's any grounds for appeal. But one thing's for sure, this is a dark day for this promotion. And now I gotta find something I can sell for $300. And while I should be congratulating our new women's champion, La Femme Brutale, Marisa DuValier, I would like to start a new hashtag. Hashtag not my champion. Go forth and spread that one all over social Sasquatch, kids. If enough of us make enough noise, maybe we can get the decision overturned, or at the very least, a proper rematch. Well folks, I'm sorry to say it, but that is all the time we have for this week. As always, I just want to take the time to thank all you wonderful people for watching. Viewers old, new, and somewhere in between. Without all you wonderful people watching, I'm just a bum from Linwood bouncing material off his dog. Make no mistake, I am still all that, but thanks to your viewership, I am so much more. If you're in the Christchurch, Canterbury area, and you haven't got your tickets yet for UCW's Overload, well you better hurry, because they're probably almost all sold out. While I have no official affiliation with UCW, I'm just going in my capacity as a wrestling fan. And if you see me lurking about there, don't be a stranger. But whatever you do, be sure to come back next week for more mirth and mayhem on the MainLine. Until we meet again, this is your host, color commentator, and good buddy John, signing off and signing out.